Now, most know that being the startup nation, the Silicon Valley of the Middle East is Israel's claim to fame, and the high-tech and startup sector making several historic deals over the last few months. But did you know that some of Israel's most successful high-tech endeavors have been in the fintech industry? Hannah Rifkin with the details.
Everybody banks. It's a fact of the modern world, and fintech or financial technology helps us manage our money more easily, quickly, and safely. Israeli fintech companies, though, apparently even more helpful. VC funding in Israeli fintech hitting a record $2.3 billion in just the first half of 2021, which is 28% higher than the full year total for 2020. And payment solutions specifically becoming the largest subsector of the Israeli industry. So, what are the businesses to watch? Well, of the many to choose from, companies like Rapid, Riskified, and Forder have raised hundreds of millions of dollars, are valued in the billions, and each presenting with its own edge. Rapid, for one, valued at $9 billion, the topmost private Israeli fintech company, and its technology becoming a basic necessity for sending and receiving payments worldwide. Companies like Melio and Papaya, meantime, each valued at over $1 billion, providing a boost to internal payroll and payment processes, making them cheaper and more efficient to run. Then, keeping things safe as can be, we have brands like Riskified and Forder, which combine Israel's two specialties, cyber and fintech, to focus on anti-fraud and secure payment solutions. Forder alone valued at over $3 billion. And finally, on a similar note, companies like Fireblocks and Curve, which was recently acquired by PayPal, providing secure platforms for crypto asset management. So whether trading in stocks, paying employees, or just transferring cash to a friend for dinner, Israeli fintech is likely to have your back. Hannah Rifkin, ILTV.
So, Israeli fintech is doing better than ever, but what's the Startup Nation's secret? Joining me to discuss is financial analyst from Startup Nation Central, Nicole Krieger. Nicole, thank you so much for joining us today.
Sure, thanks. Thanks for having me.
All right, so give us a breakdown a little bit on what's been going on in Israel's fintech industry in the last year. Why the sudden surge in investment?
Sure, so fintech is a significant sector within the Israeli innovation sector, and we've seen astonishing growth in the past year, both in terms of investment and also exits when we look compared to the prior year. So already in 2021, $3.7 billion has been invested into Israeli fintech companies, which is double what took place in the entire 2020.
Yeah.
And a lot of those rounds have also been significant mega rounds, like some reaching even around $300 million.
How did we make such, large gains amidst the pandemic? How did COVID really impact this market?
Sure. So COVID was actually a significant catalyst for the growth in fintech. Overnight, commercial and financial transactions moved to remote, which created the need and demand for technological solutions that enable the infrastructure, the security to send out those transactions.
I see. All right. So we have a lot of successes here. We named really just a couple in the previous piece. What is the industry's biggest success, would you say?
Good question. So within the Israeli fintech sector, there are about 500 companies all working on various different fintech solutions.
Wow.
Some are relevant for individuals, B2C, some for companies, B2B. What we see at Startup Nation Central is when looking at the investment into Israeli fintech companies, approximately 70% of fintech investment goes to three areas. That's payments, anti-fraud technology, and enterprise solutions. So can give a few examples in that regard.
We know that payments has become
Yes.
the majority shareholder, you could say, of the industry.
Absolutely.
What are the limitations and the challenges maybe with some of these companies?
Sure, yeah. So some of the challenges, I would say, is around regulation. So regulation is an important element of change within financial services. So technology is moving so fast. So for the ability for regulation to keep up that pace and connect with Israel is something that's important. But we have seen within Israel a lot of development within the local financial services sector, with digital bank, open banking, Apple Pay, contactless payments has come here now. So
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I didn't love it at first. I didn't feel safe, honestly, with the little chip. But no, it's amazing. So what are some predictions for the future? Would you say?
yeah, so as you mentioned, payments is a significant sector within fintech. It now makes up 40% of fintech investment. So at Startup Nation Central, we predict that trend to continue, and also to get more interesting in a way. For example, with flexible payment solutions or maybe crypto, see things to get a lot more interesting within payments. We also, so the trends that we mentioned earlier about large fundraising rounds and exits that have taken place, the exits this year also have exceeded last year in terms of IPOs.
Several unicorns, yeah.
Exactly, yes. SPACs, IPOs, acquisitions. So we predict that trend to continue, and maybe even companies acquiring other fintech companies to grow inorganically. And all these companies who are raising significant rounds and receiving investment will be able to continue building their product, expanding to new markets, and our lives should become more efficient and easily.
Well, I'm very much looking forward to the more efficient and easy life.
Absolutely.
All right, we're cheering to the future then. Nicole, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.